it automatically reconnected. That's good. No, the internet went down. The internet went down. I don't know why. And I'm not sure if we have some kind of a delay or whatever. I may have to burp it. Anywho, let me know if it sounds okay on your guys' end. Nah, I just saw something in my screen flicker. And then it's like, you're no longer connected online. And I'm like, what? And then, yep, the internet went out. Oh, best laid plans, right? It's created a new live stream. Okay. Well, does it sound okay? Because there's a hell of a delay. Like I normally would see on my little screen there that myself talking in real time, and it's definitely delayed. Looking. I don't know, the mysteries of technology. I was just talking about why I won't do things that are technology related, and this happens. Exhibit A. So. Okay. Well, maybe we'll get a little bit done. Maybe we'll get the people back. That sucks. We had lots of people on here. Shit happens. And this is a little different. I can't tell how many people are online. Come on, man. That's in the right place. Okay, well, we'll just keep rolling. I have no way of telling how many people are online. I don't know why. It's almost like a different display. I don't know. That's what happens when you use programs that are free. Although I've heard people that use Adobe products, they're really expensive and they still have all kinds of problems with editing, so I'm not dying to spend money and there be an issue. Onwards and upwards. Yeah, we have a business type line that is really, really fast and has worked really, really well, but even it's not perfect. Perfect. I think that's the first time that I have verified that the internet has actually gone out since in the last 2 weeks in the middle of something. So it can happen. All right, let's get back to about the color where we were at. Then we're going to add some of this sunny skin tone, but we don't want to do it at the wrong time. All right. And that's that the color? Yeah. The old creaky chair. Yeah, what I was going to do is I just was going to start another stream and just say part 2, like I had to do the other day, and never got a chance to do that. Oh well. It just, some stuff just happens by its own. I mean, hell, I'm sitting here painting. I'm not even touching anything over there. No, but you mentioned power issues. I did check this one. Let's make sure we don't have a power issue. No, we're good. Yeah, it's different. Why is the screen look slightly different here? This is different. This is like a different screen. It's like better different. I don't know. I'm just a painter. I'm a painter and a surfer. I kid that I can find just about anything on the internet. But how it works, I don't care. I don't care how it works. You're back. Me too. I never left. That was weird. You know, I think I'm actually viewing this feed like if I'm a viewer, not the person creating it. This is just effed. Oh well. Because there's like a delay on it, like the same delay you guys see. There's like a 30-second delay between the time that I do something and it comes up. So, yeah, and I think I'm going to go ahead and test it right now. Assuming that you guys are hearing my voice at exactly the same time that it's happening. I'm going to go ahead and take my glasses off and I'm going to put them back on. And we'll see how long that takes. It's like 30 seconds. Yeah, it's like a 30-second delay between the time I do something and the time I see it appear here. And which is weird because the feed before I was seeing it live and you guys might have seen it delayed. I don't know. That's freaking annoying. The mysteries of the freaking internet. What have you missed? You missed nothing, John Carter. Now we can get started. That first one was just a tease. Yeah, I can't tell how long I've been on here or anything. This is weird. This is really weird. Your channel. Yeah, and it's weird. The other thing is I have had people that have commented on my videos and their comments don't come up. And I didn't delete them. Like, I saw their video, but it's not on the video itself. All right. Did this switch this thing? Are we still good? Yeah, we're still good. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, well. Sorry about that, folks. Trust me, I was just sitting here painting, and it's all YouTube's fault. Those sons of bitches. Yeah, there's two comments that people have made. They weren't inappropriate or anything. I think one of them might actually be yours, John Carter. And I couldn't respond to them. Like, they came up on my phone like, hey, you have a new comment. I'm like, oh, cool. That's a cool comment. And then I went to reply to it, and I couldn't reply to it. It wouldn't post it on there. I didn't delete it or anything. It just... That's annoying. That kind of stuff's annoying. One day it works fine, the other day it doesn't. Oh well. So yeah, what were we talking about? We're talking about fantasy stuff. Yeah. The bad thing about this particular DBX basing is I have to commit to who's going to be on the stand because they're stuck on there. It's not like I can just add more. Like let's say I'll use my Ottoman Turks as an example. I finished my Ottoman Turk army and it's really cool. But Khorasan came out with figures after I already had my Ottoman Turks. Well, I can't just add their figures to them because I would have to rebase them all because they're already stuck in there. I mean, I wouldn't want to put like, here's the stand of the Khorasan guys. I'd want to intermix them. I'm a big fan of doing that. And you can't do that if it's already set in the base. So if you were doing something that was individually basing, you could do that, but then it would be really fiddly. I don't know if there's a perfect solution to anything, but that's the problem with doing stuff like that with a DBX type basing. It's easy to move them around. It's not very fiddly to move them around as opposed to individual figures. But if you do individual figures, then, I've played games where figures are based individually, and people get really, really sloppy when they do that. I mean, they'll, and that's not even necessarily with them trying to do something sinister. They just do sloppy stuff. You end up moving this to here, and you're off by a little bit because it's round or whatever. It happens, So at the end of the day, it's just a game. I guess what I'm getting at is I'd be more likely to do fantasy than science fiction. I'm not much of a science fiction person. Science fiction involves too much like this technology that doesn't frickin' work all of a sudden. Fantasy Neutron is DH3H2, which is basically DBA mechanics with hot troop types. Okay. Is that available somewhere online? I know it's free. I know that's Tom Thomas's rule set. His modification. Hopefully he doesn't charge for that. I can't stand somebody piggybacking on someone else's work and then charging for it. It's like not cool. I'm not saying that he does, but hopefully he doesn't do that. That's just stupid. It's not like you can do that for a living and, But that's probably how it would solve it. If I was going to come up with something, I don't want it to be points based, and I want the armies to be uneven. Like some armies are bigger than others, and that's just how it is. So you just play the matchup twice, switching sides. Problem solved. Doesn't have to be a balanced game. See who does better in the matchup. I think that'd be cool. It'd be something a little different. definitely have blind general all the time. Or you could have somebody who's a wizard, right? So the people that aren't like a really... Ooh, that's an interesting... That's an interesting way to do it. Wouldn't it be interesting if you played a game where you had a brilliant general against somebody who wasn't? And the brilliant general could just roll pips normally, nobody rolled. But the other guy wouldn't. He'd have to play blind general. That would be interesting. That would be really cool. Wow. Yep. All right, let's add a tiny little bit of white to this and see what happens. Okay, did a little bit of a different shade with him. It turns out like shit on the camera, but I just figured I'd show you. All right, let's go do his bow, which we figure out we did Iraqi sand. That's what we figured out the other day. So let's get some of that good old Iraqi sand. Very useful color. 6 people, getting everybody back. Oh. Yeah, see, on my feed, it's the screen's totally frozen. I can't even see. I'm not even moving on that screen, so who knows if this is even going on. Oh well. I hope you'll have a game tomorrow. I may. It's like a 50-50 chance. It's like a 50-50 chance of getting the game going. Oh, I know why. This isn't set all the way to the... Okay, there's still... Oh, there's way back here. All right. There we go. So on my feed, it was paused. That's weird. I still have some kind of a delay. Oh, well, I don't have to look at myself. That's your problem. That's your guys' problem. He doesn't charge for it. Okay. So, yeah, there's like a 50-50 chance of playing. You know, it just... Do I want to bad enough? Or do I want to keep working on these? You know? He gets to play no matter what. Because he's got Joel that shows up at 9 in the morning, I think, or something like that. So he's played all day long. He's probably playing something else. That's why you guys aren't going to see probably any DBN stuff for a long time. Because Joel comes in. He didn't used to do this, but now he shows up at 9 a.m. and plays DBN or whatever they're doing all day long. Well, I can't get there until I get off of work. So, you know. And he lives in the middle of the frickin' forest. So I don't blame him for not wanting to drive at night, but I guess we won't play with him, you know? Sorry. Most people work on Mondays. So. And Mondays are kind of crazy for me because Tuesdays are really busy, which means we do everything the day before. So Mondays become busy. So we'll see. We'll see if I feel up to it. I haven't gone in a couple weeks, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't missed it. Because the first thing I want to do when I get home is, man, I want to take a shower. And going over there involves not taking a shower and being hot another 4 or 5 hours of the day. And that's like the last thing I want. So. No charge for DHC. Where is it located? Where is that D3H2 located? Is there a link for where you can download it? I've seen him mention it a freaking million times, but I don't think that he's said, here, you can come get it at this place. I think I need to switch to a bigger brush, just so I don't wear this one down on things that aren't so important. And save the detail brush for the detail stuff. Guess I could probably just look it up. I just haven't been interested enough in looking it up. D3, what the hell is it called? D3H2. Does Ralph Partha still make those 15mm Ralph Partha stuff? The fantasy? What is it? What is it? AD&D Battle System. Isn't that what that stuff was called? I remember going to the vendor that carried that at Historicon, and he would just have these fantasy things that were just in these trays where you could just, I think he sold them by weight, and you could just pick however many guys you want out of each one. I remember that, and I remember they were made out of a nice pewter alloy, so it wasn't like, old lead that was just sitting there for a long time. It was, new castings. And you'd say, I'd want 3 of these archers, but, it's fantasy, so I'm not really looking at it. Which I probably will look in the future, because now that I've got some experience in using green stuff, I'm not pro level, and probably never will be pro level by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm at least comfortable with doing some things. There may be a figure in there that I could use to convert into something else. You know, I don't want to do a whole army of them, but some leader or something like that. That's for an army for something historical. But it'll be until next year, if they have a Historicon, to go to one, and assuming they have it in July. So it's going to be a little bit, but I'll have to remember to take. I don't remember who the vendor is, but they've got actually a big display stuff. They have a lot of real estate in the past that they've taken up. Not sure if I lost the feed again. Oh well, we'll just keep going. I'm sure we'll probably have a chance to test it again later today. See if we can do it right. That's just the internet going down, and nobody's awake here. Well, we got plenty of bandwidth, and nobody's awake to consume any more. So what's this water look like? Let's go switch this out. I'll be right back. Okay. All right, where to next? Now, of course, I didn't dry my hands, what I'm famous for. just water. Um, yeah, let's go ahead and do his belt and stuff. All right, now we did find out earlier today that the correct color was U.S. Field Drab. Had your hands full detailing a Syrian chariot. Cool. That's the guys you don't want to move in next door. You have new neighbors. Who are they? The Assyrians. Oh, shit. It's going to be a bad day. No, they're not bad guys. They're really crafty. I hear they make their own lampshades. Oh, I bet they do. Yeah. And they look like the previous neighbors. Have an Assyrian army to do. Again, didn't get them done because, well, I don't know. If I really like this, I already have the figures for them. Mitch already has Assyrians, but it'd be a different Assyrian army. It'd be, is it 251? Later Sargonid? We'll see. We'll see. Not next. We need Dracula's calling. Or maybe somebody that fights the Pope. Or maybe those pre-feudal Scots. You know, I'm painting this army. I'm talking about the next one. That's exactly how it works, right? Ask the hot group. And Tom emailed me the D3H2. Yeah, you could send it to me there on the Facebook Messenger. You could send files. I love Facebook Messenger. I don't use email. I don't use personal email for anything. It's just too clunky. Facebook Messenger is great. You know, lots of people don't like Facebook. I think Facebook's great. You don't have to get into political arguments. Just why even argue with people about anything? Let's just work on the stuff that we have in common, not our differences. It's really friendly to post from a phone, which is what I use as my main camera and everything. I'm glad could kind of make this work with what I already had. I wasn't going to buy a camera. You know, the camera ends up being really expensive and crappier resolution than I have now, so why would I do that? There's times I may have wanted to use a phone while I was filming, but I just freaking deal with it. Is it worth, I don't even know how much a video camera is, $300-400, something like that? I don't need to spend that kind of money on that and then not get the use out of it. And So the only problem with this army is that it's one manufacturer. That's not really a problem. But there's not a whole lot of different poses. So like all these skirmishers are the same pose. All the auxiliary are the same pose. The blades actually are in 3 different poses. So that's okay. But I think we'll make it work because I struggled with the... I didn't struggle, but I ended up actually not struggling with the Irish, who, when you look at the figures that I used for my Irish, are less than impressive before they were painted. And I freaking love how that army turned out. So, and same thing with my Carthage. I wasn't too excited about painting them, and then they just started coming alive. So, I'll accept the challenge to make these guys look interesting. And varied. Even though at first glance they might look like they're really, really boring. You know? Yes, once I get it, absolutely, John. Yep. Well, that's good. That's good to know that he's not charging for it. And there's other people that have made sets of rules that don't even mention what they're inspired by, and yet they charge for them. You could do it if you want. It just seems like the wrong way to go about it. I mean, it's not like any of those people are doing it for a living, and they have to charge to pay the bills. Not that that would make it any more right, but at least it could be justified. But nobody's getting rich off this stuff. But whew. All right, we need to do the fringes on this guy. Well, obviously we can't use white because it's the whitest colored one. So I believe one of the colors they said was blue that you could use. So we're going to use blue. And let's see what we can come up with here. Should probably do. Yeah, I love Messenger. It makes things easy. Yeah, I don't want it too bright. Oh, we're going to be like this. All right. Where is my needle? It's here a moment ago. Man, good thing my stuff's organized, or I wouldn't be able to find my own ass. Hopefully it's not on the ground. Not like I couldn't just grab another one. Here it is. Exactly where it should be, but underneath everything. All right. I'm really interested in seeing what these guys are going to look like on their base. Because it's going to be a base color that's very similar to this. So they should fit on there nicely. But it's going to have more greenery on it. I don't think I'm going to have any grass on it. I think I'm just going to have some more green tufts on there. And I think that'll give it the kind of look that I'm looking for. So that's why these Carriage guys are here, for comparison. And I hope to God I can remember what colors I used for him. I've got it written down on a little card. Is that it? No. Yeah, but it's right off the Flames of War website, so I should be able to find that. I need to do a better job of writing that down somewhere. That I got it on a little card, a little piece of cardboard. I cut it off and wrote down my different colors that I have. I'm sure that's not thrown away. It's just somewhere back in there. Yeah, I really don't know how some people get anything done, because I consider myself pretty well organized, and I still have moments like, where'd this go? It was right here. So for those of you more disorganized types, I'm not saying any of you are watching right now. I'm just saying, that's frustrating to lose and misplace things. All right, let's paint some fringes here. All right. There's a little bit of detail on there that's going to make this guy pop. I know he's got fringes of color on this. I guess this will double as a doormat when he gets home. We're going to have to bring this up a little bit more to be able to even be noticed. And there's paint that's just clumping up on the end of this brush for some reason. Yeah. All right. That's how you're going to be, huh? Well, there it is. All right, you've just been relegated to second tier level. Not like I don't have enough of these things here. Too big. All right, not this one. Way too big. This one. So right here. Way too big. I have too many brushes. I have too many options. Trying to find the perfect one. Here, what's wrong with this one? I didn't grab it. There we go. The thinner I don't necessarily need so much for thinning the paint. It's to keep it from clumping on the end. It seems like it helps with that. Maybe it's just wishful thinking. All right, that'll work. Now, let's try to take my own advice. Let's set this off to the side, not mess with that for that. What are we doing next? The little arrow things? You do something a little bit bigger for that. What's in the picture? Is this in the picture? Oh, I guess it is. I guess my troops are on the picture over there. The papal troops. And then this will knock out 2 stands of the Amorites. Boy, this dried quick. Just sent me the rules. Excellent. Well, heck, let's do it now. I don't forget. I just got started on this. Let's see what we got here. Let's add a window. Let's go to that. Let's go here. Okay. That's what D3H2 stands for. Okay. Let's crap, where did it save this? I miss the old Windows 98, you know? I need my way in and out of Windows 98. There it is. Okay. Sure, we'll call it the same thing. All right, and then we'll create another window. We'll go here. There it is. And then we're going to add attachment. And then it should be still in this file. This one, open, sent. Okay. Now we've sent one to Mars too. Perfect. Good. Thank you, Dirk. I'll take a look at that. Excellent. Excellent. This guy's looking good. You guys can't see it on the camera, but he's... Maybe you just see it better back here. Anyhow, I'm happy with how this guy turns out. I'm looking forward to painting some of the more busy-looking folks in this army. Chariot, of course, will be last. Now, the problem with the chariot is, of course, it's like a blank slate. There's like nothing on the side of it. That means I've got to do something. You can't just like paint it a solid color. Paint doesn't go over there. I keep policing myself. You know, you can't make this chariot like, I'll just paint it white. It's just not going to work, you know? Got to paint some kind of designs. I think I know what I'm going to do. So, the internets are miraculous. They are. I've said this before. Even as messed up as things are these days, at least the internet lets us communicate with each other. So I would rather have a limitation on face-to-face play like we do now and still be able to communicate on the internet, because this is a very niche thing that we're all doing. And, you know, you're not going to, I mean, I live in a town of 155,000 people, okay? There's nobody here that, well, let me use the example. Let me use a different example. Because that's not true, because we do have a game group. But before I had a game group, I could get a hold of anybody in town that is interested in history or historicals. Maybe they are, I don't know. And that's 155,000 people, which is, you know, a reasonable sized town. We need each other from all over the world to be able to communicate with each other. Because at the end of the day, I don't really care so much if I don't play this game. Maybe I said that because I've played it 2,000 times, but what I'm getting at is, you know, I need the camaraderie to be motivated to be more creative, to make more things for historical gaming or what have you. If I don't have that camaraderie, or, hey, look what I did, I'm just going to go and play on the Xbox One, you know, and not be satisfied, because this is therapeutic, you know. This guy's going to have black hair, sorry. And then he's done. Nice. So yeah, the internet is wonderful. It's wonderful, and it's also bad, because it lets people that are up to no good communicate with each other really easily too. And that's one of those unintended consequences type things. You know, it could be just something as simple as troll. So let's people just go on there. I don't have anything to do. Let's just troll things. Or, you know, child molesters communicate with other child molesters, etc. Come up with new strategies, and, you know, let's all the bad people communicate with each other as well. Communists. Damn communists. And other ists. I don't feel like I have to mention the other ists. It's kind of obvious. Those guys, there's nobody rooting for them. We don't have to mention the other jackbooted types, because, you know, nobody likes those guys anyways. Nobody reasonable likes those guys anyways. You know, Facebook wanting to restrict all kinds of stuff you put on there, they still have no problem with you putting GIFs and things of Joseph Stalin on there. Like, you guys had your head up your ass. I actually went to some website. I forget, it was some wargaming content or something like that. And the guy, I don't know whether he was just trolling or was legitimate. He was like a pro-Stalinist guy. You know, I guess he just wanted to shoot somebody with a Tokarev that bad. You know, he had to go to that extreme, but there's delusional people out there. Yeah, it lets the bad people communicate with each other. I think this guy's done. And now there are three. Let's take a look at a 3-pack. War gamists. How did painting of the church go? We did not there yet. No, we need to work on these guys. Then we'll do the church. I know it's exciting. I'd have just throw it away because it's made in China. Mitch asked me, where did it go? I said, well, it was made in China. You're not allowed to have it, Mitch. So we have a white fringed one. We have a blue fringed one. We have a slightly red fringed one. And depending on what color I use for the next guy, we'll either do a white or maybe we'll do a red one that's a little bit brighter. War gamists, yes. Absolutely. By the way, do the Auxilia have fringes? They do not. Okay. I'm probably going to give them a little stripe on the edge or something like that. But I'm not forced to make it. You know, these are 3-dimensional. You got to paint them. Okay. Base color for this guy. Ooh, getting excited. Get these 4 guys done. Happy to help you paint another archer. Yes! Couldn't have done it without Peter. The Peter factor. It's just easy to get sidetracked and do something else instead of this. At the end of the day, this feels good to get something accomplished. It's relaxing while you're doing it, and you have something to show for it. And then we can make more videos with these little guys running around pitter patter in the desert without shoes. I wonder how that happens. I had a bad experience with a bad barefoot experience several years ago that involved hot sand. Went to a water park, and we had all our things over at this one table, this one chair that was in the middle of a sea of sand, basically. And I'm walking over to get our stuff, and you can't travel as fast on sand as you can on regular land. I mean, unless you're part camel, which I'm not. So the sand's getting really hot while I'm in the middle of it, and I'm like 150 feet from it still, and my feet are like on fire, like they're getting burned, and so I ran as fast as I could, and when I got over to where my chair is, I ran and jumped on it, and it was one of those chairs that folds out the sun, and it landed right, my tailbone landed right on a metal bar, and I probably fractured it. I didn't have trouble walking or anything like that, but when the seasons change, it hurts. It's not that it hurts so much. It's a pain you've never had in your entire life, So, yeah, I'm not walking across the desert without shoes on. Sorry, not my thing. So this is going to be skeleton bone that we're using here, and we don't want to use that. That's too specific of a. We need to save. Oh, look at this. This has got a little thingy at the end. We need to save those special brushes for more unique needs. All right, let's add. Let's add black with this one. We'll do that. But I guess these guys are used to running around barefoot everywhere. I can go barefoot at the beach. on the pool deck, in my own home. That's about it. Nowhere else, so. Aw, man. Had my head up my ass and painted his flesh. I had no big deal. What was I thinking about? I was thinking about Mitch's feet. No Tony's feet at somebody else's house. Biblicals won't take long to paint. Okay. So John, what do you call ancient Chinese of biblical times? You certainly can't call them biblical because they're not mentioned in the Bible over there. What do you call those guys? Or pre-Vedic Indians? Those can't be biblical. They're not in the Bible. That's it. The Bible disenfranchises people from the Far East. Okay. If I really wasn't motivated to paint this army, I'd do something like start with a chariot, but the chariot's going to be last. We got to earn that one. We got to earn building it up. I remember I've done 2 chariots for my terracotta warrior army, the Qin Chinese. And had to really think about how I was going to put that thing together before I did, because it's multiple steps, and you got to do things in stages. I'm a big fan of just glue the guy on the horse and I can reach anything you can see, and I really can. But the problem is it just becomes a pain, a chore to go around different things and avoid other ones. So I think I assembled the chariot itself and then glued it on one of these underneath. You guys will see it. I'll do it live. We'll do it live. So I glued it on this. Then I based the horses individually, painted them all individually. Then and did the crew separately. Then after everything was done, everything was sealed and sprayed and varnished individually. And I glued the horses down and marked and set the chariot down so I could mark where the wheels were going to hit on the chariot. And then I gooped everything. So the horses were glued down, then I gooped the entire stand except the tiny little spots where the chariot was going to fit on there. And gooped it, painted the goop. Then after that's done, all I'm left is a stand with the two spots where the wheels are going to touch of the chariot. So then I glued the chariot in and then did tiny little gooping around there and painted that little bit in. Then glued the crew figures on. And then did the threading of the reins through the crew figures' hands, which sounds worse than it was. It wasn't that bad. That actually sounds god awful, but it wasn't. And it just takes multiple steps, and it's that's a piece a chariot could take, I don't know, 20 hours, 15 hours, something like that. It's not all in one shot, but it's not quick. But I enjoyed it. I've had that army a long time, and the reins haven't popped off or anything. Because what I did was, I took the hands. The hands are always like, kind of like this, like they're holding something. So I just drilled through them. So now I've got a hole. You try to want to make that hole as big as you can, and then just thread things through there. And I used a thread that didn't fray. So I didn't use a cotton thread. I used a I think it was polyester. Might have been plastic, something that doesn't fray, and that's what I did. I mean, I did it in a color that was, brown already. So we'll do that. I'm actually looking forward to threading that, but it's a multi-step process. But classical what? It was Qin Chinese is what that army was. So that's book 2, 4A, I think. Warring States. The Terracotta Warriors. So, yeah, it was fun. It was empowering to do something like that. It was a lot better than doing this bastard. This is also threaded with, I think it's non-fraying. Anyhow, this is just dust that's tucked to. This is a GHQ 1/2400 scale, 74 gun ship of the line. It used to be the Superb. It was on a stand that was called the Superb. This one's supposed to be British, but this thing took like 24 hours to do. And you had to drill the things on there and feed them through and feed them back up. And played the game one time and absolutely hated it. Not my kind of game. But I only bought one ship and painted the one ship. So, same thing. The threading on the chariots is a lot easier than that. It's less threads for starters. So, you only need to go one to each horse or something like that. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it. But it involves planning. You've got to plan, okay, where's the hole going to go through? So you drill it before you paint the figure. Nothing worse than having to drill a figure that's already painted. I don't want to get into that. It sounds no fun. Guy from India called that period the time of kings. Okay. The time of kings. Talk. Time of Kings. TOK. Talk. Yeah, I don't include India and Far East. To me, India is kind of their own thing. I guess it's so big, and there's so many things that are unique to Indian armies that I kind of consider them their own thing. That's not to downplay them. Obviously, India's in Asia. So is the Levant. But I don't consider the Levant Asian armies. I mean, that'd be kind of silly. I'll be right back. I need a refill again. How about just Bronze Age? Yeah, that would work. Bronze Age is kind of a European term too. Oh, F it then. The event that these guys are going to participate in, it is better than biblical. No doubt about it. The event these guys are going to participate in, it's called Bronze Age Beatdown. Yeah. So you got to be 1201. No, it's before 1200 BC. And I use BC, not BCE, because I always use BC, and we're not trying to religiously convert somebody. You know. It's like you can use the metric system, and not get turned into a scientist. You know, just deal with it. Stop trying to find things to be offended by. I'm not trying to convert anybody. With wheels, don't forget doing the wheels separately as well. I didn't. I put them together. It didn't bother me. It took a long time, but I have a fear I don't like to glue things that are already painted, so I try to minimize that as much. Really didn't have any issues with it. Just had to kind of think about how I was going to go about it. I can reach anything I can see, so, and I use epoxy, so I don't want to paint something and then put it in, the epoxy goes, you know, everywhere. All right, let's just paint this guy this straight color here. See what we come up with. Chariots. I have one chariot to do. The big man gets to ride on that one. The head Amorite in charge. Tiny little bit of highlighting here. None of these guys, well, I don't know what I'm going to do with the leader yet. Although I don't think he's got cloth armor. None of these guys is going to be white. It's going to be off-white type shades that, you know, after a while are just going to get nasty. Fine if you don't have decorations on the side of the chariot. Before Bronze Age collapse. Well, what about the countries where there wasn't a Bronze Age collapse? I know. We'll call it whatever we want and people will be able to figure it out. I do like Bronze Age though. Bronze Age, Iron Age. So the interesting thing about the Amorites is I got them confused with the Ammonites that apparently were the child sacrificers. So the other day I went and did a Google search for... See, can I do this? I probably could do that. Let me close this down. Let me make sure I close the right thing. And if you do a Google search for Amorites, I came into a whacked website. I bet I can't find it now. And there's some crazy stuff on there. Conspiracy theory type thing. Like, I'd never heard any of that crap. Anyhow, I can't find it now. But it was a thing that was one of these conspiracy websites. It was about the Amorites and Illuminati and how they did sacrifice children. I'm like, hey, I only said they sacrificed children because I got them confused with the Ammonites. I was going to make a little child sacrificing thing, but honestly, these guys don't look evil enough.